renowned psychiatrist, Dr. Bob Johnson, is going inside the mind of Freddie Mercury.
I want to find out how a shy boy from Zanzibar became one of the greatest rock and roll frontmen of all time.
January 1964. Freddie was 17 and living back in Zanzibar after failing 10th grade at his boarding school in India.
And he was top of the class at so many things. He was a great sportsman, he was a gifted musician, he played piano, and then he discovered rock and roll. He went from being an A stream student to being a failure and was kicked out of school.
Being kicked out of school is often an act of teenage rebellion. Many late teenage rebellions that I see occur as a result of delayed adolescence. It's an attempt at liberation from the need for parental approval.
But at the same time in Zanzibar, another rebellion was happening. On the 12th of January 1964, the ruling sultan was overthrown by the military, and the island erupted into a violent revolution.
There is a lot of tension. In 4 days, 12,000 people were killed.
Freddie's family, along with thousands of others, literally ran for their lives. They ran with the clothes on their backs, and they managed to board planes and they escaped.
This would clearly have been an enormously traumatic event for Freddie and his whole family, one that would add even more to his emotional baggage.
Freddie's family fled to London. From then on, he hardly spoke about his past.
Why did he never speak about it? Can you imagine what a trauma that would have been? The trauma that you want to leave behind. You've left your entire personal history halfway around the world in an African territory to run for your life.
Subash was one of the people that Freddie left behind.
Once his family moved to England, I come to America in June of 64. From 64 to 68, I would write him a letter once a year. He never answered me.
Freddie Bulsara had learned time and time again that leaving and never looking back was a survival technique. He thought this was an essential part of getting through life.
Don't go back to Zanzibar, to India, to anywhere. It's gone. That's the past. And he was like that in relationships as well. He would cut people off.
Zanzibar was the place where Farouk Bulsara had led a shy and parochial life. 60s London was the environment from which Freddie Mercury would emerge.
And London was where he dreamed of being. Once he arrived, he didn't want to think of small town anymore.
Well, London was the centre of the world at that time, the centre of fashion, music, art, cinema.
The family settled in suburban Feltham, Middlesex.